There's something strangely fascinating about highly intelligent women. They don't always look intelligent. They don't always speak the most. And they certainly don't walk around trying to prove that they're the smartest person in the room. In fact, some of their habits can seem unusual, confusing, or even antisocial. They may disappear from social situations without explanation. They may overthink simple conversations. They may spend hours alone doing things nobody else understands. And sometimes, they seem completely comfortable being misunderstood. But psychology suggests that some of these behaviors can be connected to the way highly intelligent people process information, emotions, and their environment. So if you've ever wondered why certain women behave differently from everyone around them, here are 10 strange habits that may reveal more than you think. Number 1. They talk to themselves. It might sound strange, but talking to yourself can actually be a useful cognitive process. Highly intelligent people often process complicated thoughts by putting them into words. They may quietly explain a problem to themselves, rehearse a conversation, or even argue both sides of an idea. It isn't necessarily loneliness or instability. Sometimes, it's simply the brain organizing information. A highly intelligent woman might say, "Okay, what am I actually trying to solve here?" And suddenly, something that felt confusing becomes much clearer. Number 2, they need a lot of alone time. Some people become energized by constant social interaction. Highly intelligent women may be different. They often value solitude because it gives their mind space to think without interruption. After spending hours around people, conversations, notifications, and responsibilities, they may genuinely want to be alone. No party, no phone call, no unnecessary conversation, just silence. And this can confuse people who interpret solitude as sadness. But being alone and being lonely are not the same thing. For some highly intelligent women, solitude is where creativity, reflection, and emotional recovery happen. Number 3, they overthink conversations. Have you ever replayed something you said 3 days ago and suddenly wondered whether you sounded rude? Highly intelligent women may do this more than people realize. Their minds naturally search for patterns, meanings, and possibilities. So a simple sentence like, "I'm fine," may lead to dozens of questions. Did they really mean it? Was their tone different? Did I misunderstand something? Did I say something wrong? This ability to analyze details can be valuable, but it can also become exhausting. Their intelligence allows them to see possibilities that other people simply overlook. Number 4, they ask unusually deep questions. While everyone else is discussing celebrities, trends, or weekend plans, she might suddenly ask something like, "Do you actually like your life? Or have you just become comfortable with it?" That question can completely change the conversation. Highly intelligent women often have strong curiosity. They don't just want to know what happened. They want to know why it happened. They want to understand motives, systems, relationships, human behavior, and the meaning behind everyday experiences. Small talk may feel empty when their mind is searching for something deeper. Number 5, they get bored easily with repetitive routines. Intelligence is strongly connected with curiosity and mental stimulation. When something becomes too predictable, the brain may stop finding it interesting. That's why a highly intelligent woman might become obsessed with something for weeks, learn everything about it, and then suddenly move on to something completely different. To other people, it may look like inconsistency, but sometimes she simply needs a new challenge. Her mind wants something to solve, something to explore, something that makes her think. Number 6, they notice tiny changes in people, a different tone of voice, a delayed response, a forced smile, a change in someone's normal behavior. These tiny details can be surprisingly noticeable to highly observant people. A highly intelligent woman may walk into a room and immediately sense that something feels different. She might not know exactly what changed, but she notices that something did. This doesn't mean she can read minds. It means she may be highly attentive to patterns in behavior. And once you become good at recognizing patterns, even small changes can become impossible to ignore. Number 7. They change their minds when presented with better evidence. This is one of the most misunderstood signs of intelligence. People sometimes think intelligent individuals should always be confident and never admit they were wrong. But genuine intelligence is often connected with intellectual flexibility. A highly intelligent woman may say, "I thought that before, but now I see it differently." That isn't weakness, that's growth. She understands that protecting her ego is less important than discovering what is actually true. She doesn't need to win every argument, she wants to understand. Number 8. They have very high standards for relationships. Highly intelligent women may become less interested in relationships that constantly drain them. They may value emotional maturity, honesty, curiosity, independence, and meaningful communication. This can make their dating lives look complicated. They may reject someone who appears perfect on paper because something feels intellectually or emotionally empty. They may also walk away from relationships where they constantly have to explain basic respect. And sometimes people interpret this as being too picky. But having standards is not necessarily the same as being unrealistic. Sometimes, it simply means knowing what kind of environment allows you to thrive. Number 9. They secretly obsess over random topics. One night, she might suddenly become fascinated by ancient civilizations. The next day, she's researching human psychology. A week later, she's learning about astrophysics, investing, philosophy, or the history of a completely random invention. Nobody asked her to. Nobody needs the information. She just wants to know. Curiosity can become almost addictive when learning itself feels rewarding. And this is why intelligent people can sometimes appear strangely passionate about topics that seem completely irrelevant. They aren't always looking for practical answers. Sometimes, they simply enjoy understanding things. And finally, number 10, they are comfortable saying, "I don't know." This might be the strangest habit of all. A highly intelligent woman understands how much there is to learn. She knows that confidence without knowledge can be dangerous. So instead of pretending to understand something, she may simply say, "I don't know." And then she learns. That combination of curiosity and humility is powerful. Because intelligence isn't about having every answer. It's about being willing to search for better ones. And perhaps that's the biggest misunderstanding about intelligent women. They don't always stand out because they're louder. They may stand out because they're quieter. They observe before speaking. They question what everyone else accepts. They enjoy solitude. They analyze deeply. They change their minds. They remain curious. And sometimes, the behaviors other people call strange are simply signs of a mind operating differently. So if you recognize yourself in these habits, don't automatically assume something is wrong with you. Maybe you simply process the world in a different way. And remember, none of these behaviors can prove that someone is highly intelligent on their own. Intelligence is complex, and people express it in many different ways. But if several of these habits sound surprisingly familiar, perhaps what you once considered your weirdest traits are actually some of the qualities that make your mind uniquely powerful.